saw you before, but you a black man like me. That's right, and it's worth something.
This is Blackwatch with Commanding General Yahanna, the only man to lead blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans.
God made man on this earth. The white man he make man. God made man. God want man to obey him.
Bringing you real news.
We don't need a black man in the White House. You need a black man in every black house.
For many years, there's a lot of black people who didn't realize how deep the racism of white America was.
You ain't gonna do nothing unless you decide where you gonna stand at with the Most High.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
Righteous solutions to issues plaguing our nation.
Boy, you better wake up and see the power that is within blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians.
Join us every Monday from 9 to 11 p.m. Blackwatch. Let the show begin.
Clap it up, clap it up. There you go, sir. We got you.
Yeah. What's going on, Israel? ISUPK.com is the website. You know how we do it every Monday night, kicking it up live with the heavy hitters in the building. General Muhammad up in here with me tonight. Officer Marah, Officer Yediah.
Officer Ibad.
Say again?
Officer Ibad.
Officer Ibad. Big shout out to Officer Ibad. General Hodge should be joining us soon. So let's get it on, Yediah.
Which one you want first, sir?
We can, unless you got a preference, he can run them the same way the list came down.
So, Khan. Black people make up 31% of hate crimes in California, research shows.
Go ahead.
An annual report released by California's Attorney General reveals that the hate crime rate climbed an alarming 31% during the pandemic due to crimes targeting primarily black people.
Dang.
Reportedly,
wait a minute. Did it say it rose 31%? With crimes against black people. Once again, they blame the COVID on us. At the end of the day, the slaves is who they want to be. Did y'all hear? I forgot to tell y'all about this. Did y'all hear that they gave the first person that got charged with the felony, they gave them like 22 months for storming the Capitol. They gave them like no time for storming the Capitol. But meanwhile, them same bastards done raised, according to this, have raised the hatred against us 31%, if I'm understanding you right.
Khan.
Ridiculous. Go ahead, Yediah.
Khan. Reportedly, the highest it's been in more than 13 years.
The highest it's been in 13 years. Once again, we said this before, did we not? That they wasn't going to blame that after the Capitol riots, after all of Donald Trump's attempts at showing all the racism he could and demonizing the brothers and sisters, that they would blame us in the end. And sure enough, tell me if I'm wrong, that's what we observing right now.
That's correct. You die? Khan. According to the Associated Press, the overall hate crime increased from 1,015 to 1,330 last year, while the number of victims increased 23% from 1,247 to 1,536. Black people account for 6.5% of the state's population of nearly 40 million people. But the victims in 30% of all hate crimes, 456 up to 87% from the previous year. Meanwhile, Hispanic people accounted for 45% and only 6% were white.
Damn. We show you, we 6% of the population. What state and city that is?
State of California, sir.
State of California. We make up 6%. But meanwhile, how much? 31% of hate crimes being committed against us.
A raise since the pandemic.
Have raised since the pandemic. And on top of that, meanwhile, the call for protecting the Asians and new protection bills for the Asians to make sure no hate crimes come to them. Meanwhile, we up 31%. But if you let them tell the story, you'd think the only ones catching it for hate crimes are the Asians since the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, black people didn't do nothing to spread the black people were the ones wearing the damn masks. It was white people saying they didn't want to wear the mask.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And meanwhile, the hate crimes went up 31% to the Lord's chosen people, man. People are monsters, man.
Right.
People are monsters, man. Like, once again, every time they attempt to make it look like, you know, life is better for us and things are all right for them, the truth comes out that it's the opposite. And once again, it just burns me up how we just suckers for these Christian preachers, man, who just tell the same lie. We up 31%. I bet you couldn't find a preacher in America that made a statement concerning us being up 31%. I can almost guarantee it. Right or wrong?
Kind of one kind.
Go ahead, General. That was it. Did y'all freeze on me? I think y'all froze on me. Salaki, I think I lost y'all for a minute.
I think we're having a problem. Are we back on Salaki? What I was saying, sir, is if you were on the internet, you would assume that there is some epidemic of Asian hatred happening in America, so much so that they need a hashtag and special protection. You would think they were being lynched and their houses and churches set on fire, which is the history of blacks and Hispanics in America. But meanwhile, that's not true. Let me give you the absolute truth. Harvard University and MIT were attempting to pass affirmative action laws to get more white people into Ivy League universities because Ivy League universities are dominated by Asian people.
Damn.
So that they were attempting to pass a law to say that to give white people a better chance to get into Ivy League schools.
Wait a minute. Now
what schools got together to attempt to find a way to get more white people in there because an Ivy League school is almost all Asian.
General, you are not going to tell me this was done by a black organization.
No. An Asian, an Ivy League school, a white organization.
Oh, okay.
No, meaning it's so many Asians in Ivy League schools,
right?
That the heads of the schools had to do something to get more white people in there. So they used affirmative action, saying there are no white people here. So can we do something to go out and recruit
more white
people? Because the school is almost all Asian. This happened last year.
Damn.
Last year. And so I think Chinese people are doing all right. They all right.
Damn right.
They doing pretty good, brother. They're dominating the Ivy League universities. They're dominating MIT, dominating in every form of academia and business. I think they're doing all right. I think they're doing just fine. However, in California, black people are being hated and Hispanics are being hated, though they had nothing to do with the epidemic and are the people that are the most affected by it, are the people that are suffering the most
and dying the most.
Epidemic in California. Sir?
Salaki, I was just saying, and dying the most. I didn't mean to cut you off. You right.
And dying more than anybody. So we have to die more than anyone dies because of the epidemic, and we have to be hated for it as well. Meanwhile, we have to stop Asian hate because that's a terrible thing. And I guess the only time you would see an Asian is if you go to Harvard or MIT or they own the businesses in your neighborhood. But when you interact with them, don't hate them. When they're selling you everything you own in your house, and when you see them leaving MIT and Harvard and Penn and Yale, be nice to them. And that is right, and that is good and decent. But what we would like is if someone could not kick us while we're down, could not hurt us while we're already dying of the COVID-19 virus. We already don't have any insurance to get any health care so that our health can be in a better place before we get the COVID-19 virus. On top of that, somehow we have to be hated on top of everything else. Salaki, sir.
Damn, and insane. And if I could just add one other thing too, General. You know, America teaches all nations and all those that live in America whatever the hell they want to teach it. And they've taught them Asians since the 40s that they were the moral minority. I mean, they came out with it and showed how the State Department had an entire program, which we did a whole tape on, had a whole entire program where they made it as though Asians were moral and intelligent and wise. And because they pushed that narrative, they put so much pressure on the Asians that they pressured them to get in all these top Ivy League schools. And now we find out that they did the exact opposite with us. While they were teaching the Haitians that they were the silent minority and they were the moral minority, they were teaching black people that they are the evilest thing in the world and worthy to be abused. And once again, like you're saying, that's why 31% of us get abused in California, and it doesn't even hit the radar. But laws got passed this summer to protect them as though they were in some type of danger. This is insanity, man. Love you.
Don't sweat. Go ahead, you die. Please.
Illinois becomes the first state to require teaching Asian American history in schools.
Here we go. Go ahead, General.
No, that was it. That's it. If I could, just like you brought out on that tape, when our oppressor began to push that Asians were the model, what's the word? The model immigrant.
Right. They right.
Model immigrants.
They call them the moral minority.
Well, I think model immigrant might have been exactly the phrase.
Dang.
I think
Model. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, model meaning out of all of the immigrants, they're the best ones. They're the ones that go to school. They're the ones that do the right thing. They're the best American citizens that you could think of if you are an immigrant from another country. At the same time, we were being denigrated and thought of like criminals and thieves. And if you look throughout history on how the American propaganda about blacks and Hispanics changes whenever they have an enemy abroad. It was a time back in the 30s where no one was afraid of black people. Black people were shucking and jiving servants. Mm-hmm. They weren't criminals. And there was no propaganda. If you thought about a black person, he was selling you rice or pancake syrup. They were the nicest servants who were harmless. And then as time goes on and they make enemies abroad, they have to demonize black people to uplift an ally from another country.
That's right.
That's exactly what they did with China. And I would all but guarantee it, sir, based on what I learned from that video you did, that this love for the Asians is because America is planning on going to war with China. It would make complete sense.
You're right. You're right. You 110% right. Yeah, the term that the State Department used is moral minority. Well, wait, let me get it right. The term they use, is model minority. I just pulled it up. Model minority, and they pushed that propaganda out throughout the entire country that these people were just minorities, but they were the perfect minority. That they were the perfect way to be. And we think that it's just common, it's just how people were thinking. Meanwhile, that whole thing was contrived by the state. The entire idea was contrived by the state. Why wouldn't we begin to realize that everything that is thought about and said about us as blacks and Latinos and Native Indians, that all of it was also contrived? That they decided, like you brought out, that we would be on the bottom, that we would be the ones that you could demonize so that the other nations can sit up on high. And it's so Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, when they said the nation that is among these shall get up very high and you shall come down very low. He shall be the head and you shall be the tail. Like, that joint is so damn true what has happened to us. And once again, how you going to ask us to love these other nations and make us supposedly guilty about loving these other nations when you are forcibly pushing these nations above the Lord's chosen people, man? Like, once again, the Lord is so much smarter than stupid ass man. Like, the Lord knew what he was doing when he said he would separate us from these other nations to make us holy. Like man's stupidity would teach, well, we're all humans. We're all one. We should all be together. It should be love among all of us. But the Lord knew better. He knew better that you don't put all the animals together in one pen, because some animals will kill other animals the same pen.
Right.
So therefore, they have to be separated. Otherwise, there'll be a bloodbath. And if given enough time, the children of Israel would also wipe out every last one of these nations on this earth.
Damn right.
The Lord gonna have to stop us when he give us that power from putting these nations to death for the evil that they've been doing. The Lord gonna have to say, whoa, that's enough. Send them into their own land now and let them start all over and let them obey the 12 tribes of the children of Israel, because otherwise we'd wipe them the hell out because of the evil that they have done to us. This is insanity, man. And like you said, we got a horizon coming with these Asians, and they doing it to keep, because if it was to go naturally, like if they didn't step in and get in the middle of this, every Chinese restaurant in America would have to shut down.
That's right.
They said right now in America, tons of these Chinese restaurants have to close on Monday nights. They starting to shut down on Monday nights because that's their slowest day and they can't afford to stay open. And that's unheard of in a Chinese restaurant. Some of these hoods are so bad that you go in the middle of it. There's still a Chinese restaurant in there open 7 days a week till 11, 12, 1 o'clock in the morning.
Oh,
in the worst hood in ever. Only now, after this pandemic, do some of them have to shut down on a Monday. Barakatha Yahweh Shem Yahweh. You understand? Like, imagine that we got to be fed by these Oriental stores. We got to be fed by them instead of us feeding ourselves. If I could, another side thing, General, I know you can come in.
No, sir.
Another thing too is Biden then gave out this stimulus bill, and everybody raging about this stimulus bill for the farmers. The Edomites went against the bill, trying to shut the bill down before it goes in effect. And on top of it, it's still a welfare check. Like the real solution, black farmers. I mean, you could go on YouTube and just Google black farmers, and you're gonna see 1,000 videos of black farmers complaining about how evil and racist they've been treated in the United States, how they've been overtaxed, farms shut down, all of that. And as I'm watching these videos, the only thing I could think of is the same damn thing. How could a black farmer be struggling when millions and millions of chicken wings are being sold in every city in America? And every city that's dominated with predominantly black people. And it's very simple. Black farmers are struggling and starving and needing a stimulus bill because black farmers' products are not being sold to and by black people. Black farmers got to beg for a welfare check because they can't compete with the Chinese restaurant, with the Arab chicken joint. Like, why isn't it that those of us that are growing, those of us that's growing our food, why isn't it being sold to market by our own? I'll tell you why. Because the love for Asians got to be constantly watched over. They got to constantly be allowed to prosper. They got to constantly be allowed to be protected while while America's constantly teaching our people to use and abuse us. Salaki.
Damn right. No second, man.
Salaki. Yeah,
let's go to the Africa one. I think that's right on what Gen.YAHANNA was just talking about just now.
John.
Go ahead. No problem. There's another story, if I could, the Officer Yediah has, sir, that might precipitate this war, this oncoming war between America and China, where China is making inroads into Africa, into the Middle East, into all of India. They're building a road from China leading to all of these countries, all of them. And they're calling it the New Silk Road. There's another name for it I can't recall, but I think Officer Yediah has it. Go ahead, I think I sent you. Give me the story first that you have, then I sent Officer Marah or to show the other story about the Silk Road. Just read this story first. Go ahead.
Africa's largest independent comic book publisher lands film and TV production deal, seeks to educate audiences on the positive global influence on Africa.
There's a giant push right now to talk about Africa and to invest. I'm sorry, I think I stopped you before they invest in Africa. Is that somewhere around here? Well, when you read this story, they'll speak about how they want this story or this thinking or this philosophy to inspire investment in Africa. And right now, there is a gigantic push by the Chinese government to cut through Africa, all through every country in Africa, around, I think, the east part or the top part, whatever part is closer to Israel. That part up there, to cut through that country, cut through India, and go all the way over to Italy from China. Dang. And they're calling it the New Silk Road. I think it's going to be it's going to cost 3% of the planet's GDP.
Damn.
And they're making moves into trying to control the world and to control the planet Earth. And they're investing heavily in Africa, the Chinese. So I can go ahead, you die.
That's great.
Give me the road if you don't mind, about the Africa. I sent you a story. You have it? Yes, I got it. Read the headline, please.
I got it up on the screen if I may. Khan. Lucky. Implication for Africa from China's One Belt Road strategy.
That's the technical name for it. One Belt Road. You can find pictures of it online.
Yeah, Marah got some up already.
Salakia. You see it, Marah?
Khan.
And they're showing you where the thing is planned to go from China, cut through India, cut through all of that top part of Africa, and go all the way up to Italy. Now, of course, people that understand history, which our oppressor absolutely does, he knows that with roads come armies. Armies come down those roads.
That's right.
The Romans used to say that all roads lead to Rome.
That's right.
And China is doing it again. But you're going to be able to get on the road and go right to China from Africa.
That's right.
And they're investing heavily into it. And this is an incursion on America's dominance. America has got to see it. They've got to know what it means. And America and China will be able to bring military forces all through Africa, all through India, all the way up to goddamn Italy. And now, of course, they're pushing stop Asian hate, love the Asians. The Asians are the sweetest, tenderest people on the planet Earth. And that's how they gain allies and make the Asians. What's the name again, sir?
Model minority.
Model minorities. And of course, the problem with that, what difference does it make if you love Asians? Love them. Love them more. Love all their products and give them all of your colleges and universities. The problem we have is that why do you have to hate us so much? And that's the thing I've never understood. If you want to love the Asians because you want them to be your allies in war, why do you have to hate us?
Right.
Why do we have to be demonized so you can love the Asians? And for the life of me, sir, I've never even understood it. I don't see why you just can't love Asians, love them to death. Why do you have to sacrifice blacks and Hispanics all to gain favor with the Irish, all to gain favor with the Italians, all to gain favor with now the Chinese?
And General, let me tell you something. Years ago, you used to teach this a lot. You used to teach how in this scenario, this is a movie. And in this movie, you need a hero and you need a bad guy.
Well, there you go.
You used to always bring that out. And it was so heavy in that Yahushua is our hero and Esau is our enemy. But Esau makes us the enemy and everybody he wants to love the hero.
There you go. That's right.
Right or wrong?
That makes sense.
Hey, give it up for General Muhammad.
That's it. That makes sense.
Many times out. And that joint was always amazing when you would bring that out. It was like, how is it? Why are we catching this? And it was like, because they always need somebody to be the villain.
Yeah.
So that it can never be recognized that they're the villain. They always needed somebody else to be the villain. Well, guess what? We ain't gonna be the villain no more. They gonna be the villain. Like that scripture says, no longer will the liberal, how does that one go?
Will the cruel be called liberal?
That's right. No longer will the cruel be called liberal, man. You understand? The Lord said this man is the most subtle beast of the field. That's right. He is subtly eating up the world and using us as the sacrifice to do it. That's why it's so dumb. It's so, I mean, we got about the dumbest leaders on the face of the Lord's green earth. We got the dumbest leaders on the face of the Lord's green earth. And that's why everybody should wake up and check out the I.S.U.P.K. And if you don't know already, check out General Muhammad this Thursday night in Chicago, Illinois at the Israelite School of UPK, Thursday night, 7 p.m. Central Time, 6:30 p.m. Central Time. He'll be live breaking all this stuff down for you and showing you how it is futile for us to still, after all these years, put our spirit into this place when they do these type of things. And if I could, just to add to what you was bringing out about that too, General, you was bringing out also, you also brought out how heavy it was, how when they had the Japanese in the internment camps, they let them out and paid the Japanese for having them in them internment camps.
Yes, they did.
Okay.
They gave them reparations. Called it reparations.
Called it reparations for having those Japanese in them internment camps because they were so-called Japanese Americans. Like they treat the other nations with a level of respect for their humanity. A small level, but a level nonetheless. But they treat our humanity like it deserves no respect. And that was it was a good heavy point that they showed us. They showed us themselves. And that's what for the life of me, I don't understand black people. We live in a sense. We as a people, we always read a person. Black people tell you that all the time. I could read them. And you black people can't. Latino people can't. But we fail to constantly read these heathens, man. We fail to read them. In World War II, they went in there, they were bombing. They sent, 200 bombers to bomb Germany. And when they were bombing Germany with 500 and 1,000-pound bombs, the German soldiers that they brought back to the South, they brought them inside the white Southern restaurants and were feeding them while black people had to go around to the back door and beg, mind you, to buy food from those white restaurants. And what they don't tell you is that those white restaurants, they loved the Germans, even though they was American.
Yeah.
They loved them German Nazis because they were thinking the same way. They was thinking, they felt like Hitler was not wrong for hating blacks and Latinos and wanting to kill them. You understand? They felt that they said, we understand, we got them down here and we hate them the same. And listen, these were prisoners of war. I have never heard of another nation taking prisoners of war to restaurants. Took them to restaurants in the South and then turned around and told us, get to the back. We had to and listen, had to eat while they had them German prisoners inside, we had to eat outside the restaurant in the back. Even if they had a section where they let blacks in normally, while they had them German Nazis in there, they made sure we sat in the back because they didn't want to stir up the German soldiers who had to sit and eat with black people, which was insane. The treatment that we received from them, okay? It was insane, the treatment we had. Where we had to be around back while they fed them, took care of them, and loved them for what they did. And you telling me we supposed to not think of our own? We supposed to not put our own in perspective, man, and put our own first? Damn that, man. I don't want no other nation's God. I don't want no other nation's commerce. I don't want none of that from another nation. I only want to see it for our own. And it is why the Lord, again, is so much smarter than stupid black leaders, because he said to separate from them for this very reason. And it's stupid to believe the day will ever come where they will put us in equality with everyone else. That's just a dumb, stupid idea when it's so much more profitable to use us to empower another nation that they're trying to ally with. Like you just brought out, General, we should not be shocked if in a short order we hear about them bombing some Asian country or doing some military action somewhere in the world. Salaki, good.
Yes, sir. You die. Come.
Haitian Americans worry for their families back home in their future.
You die. Of course, sir, this is based on the story that I believe the officer, the Levite camp leader, called in last week. I believe we had a bad connection. Yeah. But the president of Haiti was assassinated last week. As a whole big murder plot that they're trying to uncover and find out who did it. They tracing it. It might lead back to some American citizen, some businessman over in America, but the police and authorities are trying to figure out who did it now. But of course, because the president was killed and there's so much instability in the country now, there are so many immigrants leaving Haiti, trying to flee from an unstable country right into America. Read one more time, please.
Haitian Americans worry for their families back home and their future.
Keep going.
Connor will come. Following Haitian President Jovenel Moïse's assassination, many are concerned about the security of their loved ones in the Caribbean country.
Mm-hmm. Keep going.
When George Bossesus Jr. opened a WhatsApp group chat last Wednesday morning, he left Eastlock. He felt a whirlwind of emotions. I was surprised and in shock and awe and disturbed, the Haitian American said, when he learned that the president Jovenel Moïse had been assassinated in his home in Port-au-Prince. The brazen attack also wounded the First Lady, Martine Moïse, who was later flown to Miami for medical treatment.
Keep going.
It says Moïse was elected in 2016 and took office in February 2017. Protests broke out in 2019 calling for a resignation due to allegations that he and other government officials had been embezzling money intended for social initiatives. He denied the allegations, yet the turmoil in Haiti continued. The rate of gang violence, kidnappings, and murder and economic insecurity have risen tremendously in the recent months. Many Haitian Americans say that they are concerned about the safety of their families back home. And so many, including Salakia, have been displaced by the instability in Haiti. They cannot live in their homes and the government hasn't been helping.
If I could, sir, and this, well, first of all, if you're Asian out there listening, those are real problems. Did you hear about Haiti? That's a real problem, Asian people. That's not the problems that you think you have, and I'm sorry you have those problems. But if you want to look at Haiti or the reservations or the barrio or the ghetto, that's where real problems are. Okay, and if you need to understand that, I'll go on further. But our brothers, the tribe of Levi, the chosen people of God, they're suffering real oppression. And when I read about that oppression, sir, and hear about this now, it's like another epidemic that's been going on for hundreds of years, if not thousands of years. Haiti's president was killed, and there's gang violence in the street. And now, because there's gang violence in the street, now the entire country is unstable. And I can all but guarantee you that this instability is going to cry out for America to come help.
That's it.
Before you know it, America will be over there turning the entire place into Montego Bay. The whole place will be free from crime and prosperous because of crime. And that I've seen before, sir. Like when I see this story, I've seen a place be so terrible and unstable that it's prosperous later on. Like it's so much violence, so much crime, so much gang activity that before you know it, it becomes paradise.
That's right.
It becomes paradise because of the violence, because of the instability. And now, if you can look at Haiti and see that this country, this instability in this country is going to profit the people who can make it stable. Well, why don't you understand what happened to blacks and Hispanics?
Right.
Now, the instability in our neighborhoods was created by the people who came in and made everything stable, who came in and calmed down all of the crime, stopped all of the crime, and turned Harlem into, the Upper East Side. They came in and took our ghettos and our neighborhoods and our communities and made them play places for rich oppressors. And Haiti is about to go through the same thing. You die.
Damn right. Give it up.
Go ahead.
If I may, sir, what you bringing out is just so heavy. I almost forgot. Cuba is going through a similar situation right now, where they, the Cuban government and their authorities are just murdering our brothers and sisters of the tribe of Manasseh out in the streets. And a lot of the people of our brothers and sisters in Cuba had taken to social media saying SOS Cuba, because they say they are tanks, and other type of high, level military weapons just gunning our brothers and sisters down in the street. That's awesome. And
if I could just say, and it's so much like anywhere else in the world, just like in Haiti with the Arabs controlling the country and the Chinese, over in Cuba, our oppressor, who is a Cuban, is oppressing the Israelites in Cuba, oppressing the chosen people of God in Cuba, which is the same old thing going on. And it's sad for any country that has to be close to America. If your country like Colombia, South and Central America, you're in bad shape because you are just too close to all of the money in the world. Like you're right at the doorstep of absolute heavenly riches. And that means your country has to get unstable. Your country has to have death and violence so that all of that money can make its way into your country. Because if your country is stable and if there's no crime and if it's peaceful, then the rich in your country cannot get American intervention, cannot get dollars from America. And it's sad for anyone that's close to America because you are going to get unstable. Please believe that. You're going to be a ghetto. You are going to be a reservation. You are going to be a barrio. It is going to happen because that is how you get rich. That's how you get American dollars into your city, into your country. And Haiti is suffering it right now, and they've been suffering it forever. Salakia, sir.
And if I could, General, give it up, General Mahonga. If I could add to it, the Homeland Security Chief Mayorkas turned around and told Cuba and Haiti, don't you dare try to come over here by sea.
Yes, he
Don't
did.
you try to immigrate by sea. In other words, stay up in that poverty. Every other nation can immigrate. They stuff break out all over Europe, and they all get to come over here. Okay, set their whole stage. They put the Statue of Liberty over there and set up Ellis Island to take in millions of those immigrants. But now the people who they starved to make their empire great, now they've fallen apart and running for help. And now they saying, oh, whoa. Don't y'all come over here. Y'all make sure y'all stay on that boat. But what I wanted to add to is the whole key to this is the brotherhood that all of our tribes got to find.
That's
right. Like we've taken lightly the brotherhood of Christ. With the brotherhood of Christ, we won't fight each other at the behests of these damn heathens, man. This is something they've been doing since the days of the Romans. North Korea against South Korea. North Vietnamese against South Vietnamese. Sunnis against Shias. One African tribe against another African tribe. They've been dividing and conquering us for years. Now it's our turn to come together in brotherhood. If them gangs in them barrios and in them ghettos can come together in brotherhood, then nobody could stop them. Nobody would be able to come in and divide them and get them to kill each other. They'd be able to get what they wanted. And the Haitians particularly, they need to remember the days of I forget the brother's name that got them to freedom in the 1800s. What was his name? I hate to forget his name. Anybody know his name? Throw it up there in the chat if you know his name. Okay.
The Toussaint Overture.
Toussaint Overture. Like they forget what Toussaint Overture did. His way, Toussaint Overture got Haiti free by uniting Haiti, by uniting their brotherhood against England, against Europe, against the French, in particular. And because they was united against the French, they got the French out their damn country. And they've been trying to get back in and eat them alive ever since.
Yep.
And they keep that Roman thing, like you brought out, that Roman division among them. And this just goes on into a cycle until they wipe everybody out, like you said, like they did to us. And brother, if that brotherhood comes together, then you're going to see us find the road back to righteousness. And Christ gave it to us. Like, once again, Christ didn't come to be no fairy tale to just say, love me, and tap you on the damn head. Christ came as a full-fledged revolutionary to show us this is how you stop the evil that's coming down on Jerusalem, against the Romans. And sure enough, what he was saying was true, because it was the traitors of our people who aligned themselves with the Romans that got him killed and got us destroyed and empowered black people to turn against us over and over again, turn against their own people for profit. When we start looking at these preachers, that's why the I.S.U.P.K is so right and so where everybody should be. Right. When we start looking at these black leaders and these preachers and start looking at them as taskmasters over us as a people, and we start coming together as a people for the betterment of our people, then we'll start to see some real change and not just a band-aid. When black farmers can grow chickens and those chickens go to companies that open up black-owned chicken joints and black-owned restaurants, then you'll see all the black farmers prosper. And they won't need a stimulus package or welfare check or anything, because they'll govern the narrative of where their food that's grown out of the ground comes from and where it goes and where it ends up. But instead, so that the heathens can have Popeye's chicken and Lincoln Fried Chicken and every Chinese restaurant's black farmers got to starve and beg for a check from the government, which is ridiculous when every major city is filled with black people. I told you, I looked at those area maps, and all these cities are piled up with millions of people. And you go outside the city, you drive 10 minutes outside of these cities, 30 minutes outside of these cities, and all the Edomites are sitting there with all kind of land and farms and things growing and humongous homes. And meanwhile, all of their money is coming out of these very same cities. Why isn't that economy among us? Because that's, like General Muhammad said, that's what it takes for them to be so rich and wealthy. It takes you to be in the absolute poverty and ghetto in unimaginable conditions. And then they get to come in and gentrify everything and be the hero and be God and sit over the top of everybody else. We'll pray for Christ's quick return.
That's
So
right.
that all this madness can come to an end. Our brotherhood is how we solve this mess. Go ahead, Salaki. Go ahead, y'all. Did we freeze again? Did we freeze again? I think
You back? Hello.
Con. Go ahead.
You back now? Go ahead, sir.
Oh damn! How long was I gone for? Did y'all get in it?
10 seconds.
Oh, okay. No, that was it. I was done.
No sweat. You died.
Okay, if I may, sir, the general the leader you were talking about, sir, was Jean-Jacques Dasnalis.
Oh, Jean-Jacques Dasnalis, brother. He unified them in the brotherhood. They had disputes among the Haitians. They had disputes among the sugarcane cutters. When he came to get them free, they thought, okay, we're gonna get out of these sugarcane fields. He said, no, you gotta stay in the sugarcane fields and you gotta increase the sugarcane work because I gotta raise the money for us to go to war against the French. And they was mad as hell. They said, what the hell are you talking about? You gonna make us a bigger slave? He said, no, I'm gonna get you free. And sure enough, since they unified with him, worked out their differences, they ran the French the hell up out of there. And they've been trying to get back ever since and starving them and plotting and scheming ever since to get back up in there. So like you said, we'll look back in a minute, and before you know it, it'll be resorts in Haiti. And they'll have every Haitian gang member dressed up with a white shirt and a bow tie and a silver plate in his hand, passing out exotic drinks to Edomites.
Also, Commander General Yohanna, we have Officer Yatazar, who is the camp leader in charge of Haiti. He's on the line. He called in.
Okay, damn right. Let's get him in.
Shalom, Adonai, Yabashim Yashabrakatam. Can y'all hear me?
Yabashim Yashabrakatam.
Shabrakta.
Most time Christ. Tawada Adonai for having me. What I want to say real quick, just the name of that leader in 1804, that was Jean-Jacques Dessalines. That was Dessalines. Dealing with the death of the president. Now, one thing that is very important for our people to understand. Now, they trying to blame it. They're trying to say that the masterpiece, the mastermind of the assassination was this American citizen, which is really a Haitian-born American citizen, Christian Sano, who is a preacher, a businessman, a doctor. Now, the thing about it is that he makes about $60,000 a year, and he has $400,000. He is $400,000 in debt. So he is really a smokescreen, because the people that Jovenel Moses was fighting, it was those oligarchs that our people call him the oligarch. Those are the small minority of people, and they migrated to Haiti in 1880s, 1890s, and they came from Lebanon. They came from Palestine, because their country was having war. They was having a civil war and religious wars, and Haiti opened their doors to these people. And now they control the economy of Haiti. And Jovenel, he was shutting down a lot of the contracts that these people had, which, when I'm talking about contracts, I'm talking about $20 million a month contract for electricity.
You lost him?
Yeah, we losing.
Come on.
We losing you. We lost you, Salaki. We'll try to get you at another time. Salaki, sir.
If I could, boy, oh boy, that was a good revelation that he brought out, man.
No.
Give it up for him. That was a hell of a revelation that he brought out. I hope we can get him back because he's showing something deep right there, and once again showing how important these scriptures are. That these Lebanese or Palestinians or whatever they are immigrated there. Haiti opened their doors, and sure enough, the biblical prophecy that the Lord said would happen happened. Like the brothers and sisters in Haiti are starving to death because this small group is rose up above them, like the Lord said that they would rise up above the very high, and you will come. Let's read that right quick, you die. Give me that scripture in Deuteronomy. We should read that scripture because I mean that is exactly what the brother is bringing out right now. I mean, also, that is exactly what he's bringing out. Go ahead, General.
Sir, whenever you're ready, he's called back in.
Oh, he's back in.
If you want,
let's. You want to go ahead, General? What you want to do?
No, I was offering. If you want to wait, he can wait until you get done bringing out what you wanted to bring out.
Okay, let me just finish this scripture right quick, and then we can jump back in with him because if is he on? He's solid in there.
He's solid, kind.
Okay, read me that scripture, and you can turn on your camera if you want to. I don't know if you got your camera with you, but go ahead. Let's read that.
It's like you, sir, if I may. What's the scripture you want, sir?
One in Deuteronomy where the Lord said, "He that is amongst thee shall get up above thee very high." In the 28th chapter. I want to read it because that is exactly what this brother just described. What the Akim just described. It's exactly what you're getting ready to read right now. Salaki, go ahead.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 43. The stranger that is within thee shall get thee above thee very high.
This is exactly what you're saying. You know what I mean? Go ahead.
Sir. And thou shalt come down very low.
They came in as little quiet immigrants, humble, like it was no big deal. You know, thank y'all Haitians for letting us in, and then got over the top of them and starved them to death. Got over the top of them, and here they are from the other side of the world, ruling over another tribe of the children of Israel. And it's and meanwhile, they in shanty towns in there, while them heathens never gave a damn about them. Like your charity to them is never, ever right. You die. Read me one more verse, and then I want you to pull another scripture, but I ain't going to read it because I want to let the brother back in. Did we lose him again? Damn.
Yeah, so I'm going to try to get him back. I think he might have went back out.
Okay, go ahead and read one more verse, and then give me. I'm going to ask you to get me another scripture if you could. All right.
If I may, so the brother may have a bad connection. If I may.
Okay, we can get him another time if we want. But he brought out such a good point, such a wake-up call, such a lesson for us to learn. Every nation, this is what's so dumb. Every animal in the animal world has some sense of survival. Every animal in the animal world got some sense of protection, even if all they know is to run from danger. They got some sense of self-protection. But the Lord's chosen people, they're like sheep. Like the Lord used us, a great analogy of us. We're like sheep. We don't learn. We don't go and run when we should. We don't learn that lesson. We don't, not that we should run. You get my point. Meaning we don't stand up against these heathens when we should. Like that's such a good point. Read that next verse for me, please.
Sir. Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 44. He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him.
That's it. He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. Meaning he gonna be the one to lend you money and charge you interest, and you're not gonna have anything to lend to him. That's exactly what happened in Haiti. They became I bet you go down there, they probably own all of the things that Haitians got to pay for. I bet you the oil they got to pay to cook their food. I bet you the rice they got to buy. I bet you the flour to make bread. I bet you they own all of them companies, man. If they want a cell phone, I bet you they got to get it from them. They gonna lend to you, but you ain't gonna lend to them. Go ahead, give me one more.
Colonel Wakan, sir. He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail.
That's the problem. Like even the president of Haiti was not the head. No. How you know he wasn't the head? They assassinated him. Mm-hmm. They assassinated him. So they telling you he's not the head. Once again, without the brotherhood that Christ gave us to defend ourselves against these heathens gonna get above you, and they ain't never gonna have mercy on you. And here's the problem: the 12 tribes of Israel, we are merciful, peaceful people. You know what I mean? We've been driven to violence by absolute starvation. Coming in right now, General. Like absolute starvation is what led us, you know what I'm saying, to the violence that we've committed. Absolute starvation and drugs and oppression and abuse is what led us to these violence in these ghettos, and we get blamed for it. But we are peaceful, loving, forgiving people. The problem is we give that peacefulness and lovingness to heathens that don't have an ounce of concern for our life. And like fools, we give it to them. And of course, that preacher in the church was the evilest bastard in the world. You can't assassinate a president unless you can get traitors who will turn against the brotherhood. I don't care what plot you try. Without the brotherhood having traitors, you can't never get through. You will never get through to pull off something like that. When they wanted to kill Christ, I know I'm running, General, bear with me.
No, please.
When they wanted to kill Christ, the first thing they had to do was they had to go out and get people who would turn against Christ and who would come against him. They said that members of the Sadducees and Pharisees tried to catch him in a lie, tried to make him out to be the traitor, tried to turn around and say he calleth himself equal with God. They tried to trap him in his word. Those were traitors. Then when Pontius Pilate said, man, I'm going to let him free, he ain't commit no crime. What did they do? They went through the crowd and said, man, tell Pontius to crucify him. Tell him he's wicked. He's this, he's that. And what happened? They turned against him. They could not assassinate this president if they could not make traitors out of the brothers. You understand who was with them, who was with him. And the same go for us. That brotherhood come together. We're impenetrable. That's the exact same thing the FBI did with COINTELPRO with the Black Panthers in the 60s, man. Go ahead, Ak. I'm sorry. Go ahead. One more.
Colonel Wakan, sir. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee and shall pursue thee.
Meanwhile, this curse didn't come upon us, man. The tribe of Levi. Yatazar bringing out something heavy. Go ahead.
Colonel Wakan, sir. And
for a lot of us, we know this is basic. Now, I.S.U.P.K, these is some of the first basic scriptures you know. It ain't a man in I.S.U.P.K that don't know Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, right or wrong.
Damn
but
right.
Here we find out some of the most basic scriptures that we learn from young in this truth. We find out that they are so important on the world stage. Like if these brothers knew this man would not have been killed. If they understood this brotherhood, then this man would have been protected by the hand of the Most High. Like Christ's brotherhood is everything. Go ahead, Ak.
Colonel Wakan, sir. And overtake thee.
And shall what?
Overtake thee.
And that's what they did. They pursued this man's power. And these men, talking about the Levi brother, they've been pursuing it. According to Yatazar, they've been here since the 1800s. Them Arabs been in there since the 1800s, plotting and scheming all the way up till they got so high in power that the very Haitians had to dance to their tune. So much so that that according to reports, we don't know how true it is, but according to reports, that they had a major hand in assassinating him because he was cutting off their money. Now, we don't know how true that is, but we know this much, that the fact that them heathens are sitting over the top of these Levite brothers and sisters while they live in absolute shanty towns is proof positive that the Bible is telling the truth. General, you please bear with me. Let me get one more scripture. if you can, Yediah, can you find me the scripture? I believe it's in Jeremiah, but I'm probably totally wrong. The scripture where that brother who was in charge of Israel brought in the Babylonians to see all the rituals in the temple, and how the prophet came to him right afterward and told him how wrong he was for showing them these things, and that they would wipe him out now. Y'all, anybody familiar with that? I know I'll be coming up with some old school ones, y'all, so lock you.
No sweat.
Anybody that remember that in the chat room, man, pull that scripture up, because we ain't pulled that scripture in so long. But anyway, I'll leave it alone until somebody find a cue, or somebody will pull it up for me.
Come on.
All right, if I could. Let's go on back, So I just wanted to make that poignant point that's the whole problem right there. Without us knowing our king and coming together in this brotherhood, man, they can bring in traitors and destroy us. I'm done. Go ahead, General Salah.
No, please, sir. Yediah.
Next story.
Come. Next one, sir.
Please.
Meg Thee Stallion makes history with Lena Bloom and Naomi Osaka on Sports Illustrated 2021 swimsuit issues.
Keep going.
Khan Khan, if I may.
Please.
Now, it was important to expound on this story. When I found it earlier, I had no idea who Lena Bloom was. I thought this person played basketball. But if you look up at the screen where everybody can see, Lena Bloom is actually a man.
Damn. Read the story one more time.
As Meg Thee Stallion makes history with Lena Bloom and Naomi Osaka on Sports Illustrated 2021 swimsuit issues.
Damn.
So now, are you saying that there's a man on the cover of a swimsuit magazine?
Right there, right in the middle.
Damn.
That's a brother.
That's a man.
Got one con.
Is that a heathen, or is that one of the tribes?
I don't know. The one in the middle is a man, Yediah is saying.
That's what I'm saying. I wonder if it was a heathen, or is it a brother, one of the 12 tribes of Israel.
I don't know. I guess they can look up. You can look it up, Yediah, if you don't mind.
And it is. And go ahead, General. You know this better than me. Go ahead.
I just heard about it just now.
Come on.
About so the story is somebody is standing up for them to get them on magazine covers. Is that what you're saying, Yediah? Just read the story whenever you get a chance. He's an Israelite, sir.
Damn. Like their level of witchcraft against us is amazing. Like they level of which they took two prominent sisters. Once again, that's be the plot. They took a top sports figure that black people love and admire. You understand? And somebody said it's the first Asian trans, or was it black?
It was
black.
black.
Oh, okay, half and half. Like they turned around and took Osaka, the tennis player, loved and beloved by black people, then turn around Megan Thee Stallion, who's also loved for her sexual prowess, and then walk you over to a transgender. That's like the weed man trying to get you hooked on coke. He got you on the weed. Now he gonna work you over to get the cocaine. Like they gonna use real women to try to get you to accept men. Like that is an evil, evil plot against the Most High's people. To try to use real women, show their sexuality and beauty, so that they can try to get you to look at a man in the way you look at a woman. They've been on this bull crap, man, for a minute. And once again, just like they taught us that the Asians are the model minority, just like they taught us that the Asians have to be protected and that laws should be passed to protect them from hate crimes, they're also teaching us to have an alternative lifestyle. That ain't just an open choice. Why is it that it's pushed totally in the black community? I mean, they go in full juggernaut over it. like they pulled out Chris. What's that? What's the sports figure Jenner that changed his name?
Bruce Jenner is now
Bruce Jenner. They brought Bruce Jenner out, and right after they brought him out, they dropped all the rest. Now all they doing is pushing transgenders among men, among black men. Like they pushing so hard to get black men to go into an alternative lifestyle. That ain't them taking, that ain't freedom. That's not them having a choice. That's them being taught this evil behavior, man, against themselves. Salakia, go ahead.
You die.
Khan. It says Lena Bloom was celebrated as the first trans woman of color to appear on the issue of Sports Illustrated swimsuit magazine. Salakia. It says Bloom has taken the world by storm as the first trans woman to ever grace the cover of the magazine, and honor that she credits to the women of marginalized communities that blazed the trail for her. She says, "I can live."
If I could, that's really what they want the story to be about.
That's the point.
You understand? Like exactly, General. Like, go ahead, General. Go ahead.
No, I didn't say anything. Go ahead, sir.
Oh, so like I was just gonna say that's what the story is about. They could care less about Osaka and Megan. The real story is accept a man as though he's a woman, and that brother right there is downright demonic against the Most High. It is absolutely demonic against the Most High. You understand? Go ahead.
And I don't know if the other women on this photo understand, but you can't support women and support women getting opportunities when a woman lost an opportunity on this cover.
Exactly. Damn.
Like if the whole point is you need opportunities for women of color, don't you understand that you took an opportunity from a woman of color for a man? And isn't that the entire movement? The feminist movement is about men taking opportunities from women, men getting paid more money than women, men keeping the jobs that women could do. Well, guess what? A man took a job that was for a woman. A woman lost a job so that this man could get on this cover. And for the life of me, if women in the feminist movement weren't so stupid, and if they weren't complete slaves to white women's agendas, they would see that you're hurting women, and this is just giving a man a woman's job. This is just another man who is going to get rich and famous, and there is a woman who would have been in that spot that is not getting that opportunity. So,
you're right. Yep. You're right.
You died. I'm sorry, Marah.
If I may, sir, what y'all saying is so heavy because we did a story. Remember the sister, just like Naomi Osaka, it was another sister that put up a black activist shirt. They could have put her on there.
That's right.
It was a few sisters that did so many different things. I forgot, man. We brought out so many different stories. They could have they never put none of them sisters that helped with the spaceships. I forget with the rockets. They never put none of them up there, and none of that. But they flew to put that transgender up there. Matter of fact, they could have put that young sister who just won that spelling bee. They could have put her up.
Yes.
They didn't do none of that.
No. They ain't put none of that effort in. Like you're right. They could care less about it. The point is, and our leaders are so dumb. We just think that it's just the trend. It's just how people are thinking these days. You understand? It's just one brother is saying that it's that this is a heathen. That this is a heathen. Say again.
I don't know. I mean, solid.
If I may, they saying his father is black and his mother is a Filipino.
Oh, okay. Come. So you know what I mean?
This is the part that I don't get either. Now, there's 3 people up on the screen, right? Up on the screen. Now, who are people again? You die.
The left,
Meg Thee Stallion, she's a super famous rapper, right? Sold a whole ton of records.
Right.
Won Grammys. Go ahead next.
Far right is Naomi Osaka.
Naomi Osaka is like the best tennis player in the world right now. Now, what did this brother do?
Right.
Apparently, he's an actor.
Say again.
Apparently, sir, she is an actress.
So
And a model.
this is a man who dresses like
And please don't say Shia.
you know.
On Blackwatch, say what it is. I need that from you. Yeah, man.
I was trying to be politically correct.
Right,
I understand. Well, listen, on this show, we politically wrong, you know.
Trying not to get flagged.
Yo, man. You trying to avoid? Oh, my bad. My bad. My bad. God.
We lost damn near every channel when this gay thing started.
Listen, I'm sorry. It's
right.
I'm trying. It's a lot here, you die. Oh, man.
He self-identifies.
God.
So now he has done nothing. So then these are really accomplished women up on this article up. Like these women are accomplished, man. Megan Thee Stallion, you know, with all of her promiscuity and sexualization, she's at least is accomplished.
Right.
She sold a lot of records and won Grammys.
That's right.
You know, is a successful rapper.
Sold millions.
Naomi Osaka, forget about it.
Right.
She's like the best tennis player in the world, superseded Venus Williams.
That's right. Only one that could do it.
This brother dresses like a woman. Like that's a pretty low bar. And why do women have to be, you know, pioneers of industries and super athletic successes, and all he has to do is dress like a girl? Let me tell you what you're going to see in the future. If you give them enough money and enough success, everybody is going to put on a dress. They already do it for fun. Our oppressor dresses in drag for fun.
That's right.
Giuliani did it. Rudy Giuliani. He must have been give me Rudolph Giuliani in drag. They do it like for parties and fraternity pranks. They all do it. All of them fraternities, they have little days. The Masons have some celebration where they tell all the Masons to dress up like women. I want to say it's some type of dance. It has a name, but it's in their traditions. And you give them enough money, they'll all wear lipstick to make the cover of a magazine. J. Edgar Hoover, all of them. But let's get Rudolph Giuliani, America's mayor. Get him in drag when he's dressed like a woman. Put the word drag in there or dressed like a woman, and that none of that is it. There you go, right there. You should get images. That's him. Now where's his award at? Where's his cup? Oh, look at Donald Trump kissing him, giving him strong sugar, sir.
Damn.
That's what your president right there. Oh, look at that. Look
Damn.
at that. You think they won't? They'll do it. They'll dress up like a woman if there's money involved.
Damn.
You gotta go win tennis matches and devote your life to a career. All he has to do is put on lipstick. The line will be around the corner, sir.
That's crazy.
Go ahead.
If I may, sir, you know, also I found this story, you know, like on Twitter by accident. And the one thing I can say about it, you did have some foolish sisters out here that were saying, oh, I'm happy for them sisters. But the sisters I was looking at online, they was like, yo, what the hell is this? Like, it goes to show you that the work that we're doing in the I.S.U.P.K, you know what I mean? I want to say the water to you, Commander General Yohanna, General Mahaiman, General Mayaka Allah, because sisters are starting to wake up. It was sisters online that was furious at this and was like, yo, what the hell is going on? Like, the first tweet I saw, General, sister was like, yo, that's a nigga. This is
Damn.
Damn. It's a lot.
Come on. You right. Listen, you right. See you die. You done got the wave like me. I feel you all the way. Like I feel you all the way. Like it's insane. And if I could, in a minute, tell me if I'm lying. In a minute, you black women, you'll be marching for civil rights because of transgender women. you'll be trying to get a job because all the transgender women will have they'll be on all your magazines.
Yeah.
They'll be on all. If you give that demon if you give that demon that's on these brothers to be transgender, they will wipe out black women and relegate you to the filth of the earth. Like at the end of the day, you will be considered a filthy thing, and they will be acting like, they'll be acting like the evilest bitch they could be to get your man from you. They'll be acting like an old nasty bitch that's competing against you for a man, when really that's just a man competing against you. Like you laying a wound under yourself by allowing this type of behavior to be acceptable. And once again, we said for years, you understand? We said for years how you women need to stop joking and playing with these brothers that act this way. You think it's cute and you think it's nice to look at. And you like to laugh and giggle while they performing this way in front of you when it's against the Most High, and you need to stop. You need to stop. Salakia, General. You hit it dead right, brother. You hit it dead on the mark.
Listen, women will learn. Black and Hispanic women, you'll learn. Because if a job for diversity has to hire a woman, but he can really just hire a man dressed like a woman, then why wouldn't he choose him? He's not going on maternity leave. You understand? Yeah. He's a woman who will never go on maternity leave, will not have to be away to raise her kids and be with her family, and yet he can still say it's a woman, and yet
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
We dropped for about 20-30 seconds.
Okay, then. Keep it going.
Colonel one come. You die? Come.
Jeff Van Gundy hoodlum remark about the Suns' Devin Booker draws scrutiny on social media.
Sir?
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, sir. Go ahead, now, if I could, sir, Jeff Van Gundy is a basketball announcer.
Okay.
He made a comment about Devin Booker, who's a so-called black basketball player. And he referred to him as a hoodlum, trying to give him a compliment. Go ahead, Yedaya.
Colonel Khan. The ESPN commentator drew air from its fellow colleague Ryan Clark, among others. ESPN commentator Jeff Van Gundy caught some flack on social media Thursday night for his remark about Phoenix Suns guard Devin Booker in Game 2 of the NBA Finals against the Milwaukee Bucks. It says, with 3 minutes and 32 seconds remaining in the third quarter, Booker missed a jumper, followed his shot, and put the ball back in the hoop to put the Suns up 10 points. Van Gundy said he's got edge to him. He looks like a choir boy, but he plays like a hoodlum. Van Gundy said.
You got a picture of him? Salakia, I just want to know if you had a picture of this brother. This cat. Go ahead, Yedaya. I'm sorry.
Just show him the cat, what the cat looks like. Okay, Salakia, he's not mixed at all. He's just a straight up Israelite. But we'll get the picture up on the screen, sir.
Okay. Oh, so he's not mixed. Okay.
Colonel Khan. Booker's mother is Mexican and his father is Puerto Rican.
Go ahead.
Colonel Khan.
I still wouldn't mind seeing him if you can get him a picture of him.
Colonel Khan. Ryan Clark, a current ESPN analyst, caught the comment, as many as others on Twitter saw. The former NFL defensive back said the remarks, he said the remark was certainly code. Ex-NBA coach Jeff Van Gundy said, I'm sick of sissifying the game. Van Gundy just called D light-skinned. He looks like a choir boy, but that's certainly code, that Clark said. That Clark tweeted. Van Gundy has drawn some error and over questionable remarks in the past. The most recent came during the Suns' Western Conference Finals game against the Clippers.
Like if I could, like black people should thank Gundy. That's the announcer's name.
Van Gundy,
Van Gundy. We should thank that piece of garbage, Van Gundy. We should thank that rat for this reason, because when these Edomites get free and get loose and get comfortable, they tell us how they really think and feel. And they looking at this brother, okay? And you see he got the woolly hair like a Jake. You understand? He got hair like a Jake. One of the brothers is saying they think his one parent is a Jake. The point is, he's a light-skinned brother. And to that Edomite, the gentleman side of him is the light-skinned side. The hoodlum is the black side. Like if you let them get loose, they will always tell you exactly how they feel about God's chosen people. Like they looking at this cat like he's light-skinned, but he can play ball. So to them, that light skin is a choir boy. That light skin is an Edomite. And to them, the way he play ball is like a black man, which we're all hoodlum. Black people were right to be mad as hell, but we should also thank that animal, that beast, for coming out and being so honest, because what we keep forgetting is that this is how they always do it. This thing is so deep in them. The scripture said that the two struggled together within their womb, meaning before we came out the womb with this Edomite, we was fighting him. We was fighting him before we got out, which means this is in his DNA. He loves and identifies his own and hates and identifies us all the time. Problem with us is we always trying to love him. We mad at him for saying this cat, is a choir boy and a hoodlum, when that's how they think. And especially in a game of basketball, where all these Edomites have to sit around and watch black men do amazingly well over their white counterparts. So it probably burns him up inside that this skilled ball player is not an Edomite like they would like him to be. Salakia.
No sweat. Get it on. You die?
Next person.
Con.
Professor singles out average white guy in lecture, says skin color benefits him over black students.
Keep going.
Just take the average white guy in class. Whoever it is, it doesn't really matter, the professor said. A Penn State professor singled out an average white guy in a lecture and used him as an example of how his skin color benefits him over any black student, even if they have comparable backgrounds and resumes.
If I could, sir, this is a phenomenon that's going on now that's part of the critical race theory controversy. This is white people trying to teach other white people about the inherent benefits they have from being white in America or being white in Europe. And they're trying to teach them. And of course, the more that they try to teach white people that they benefit from racism, it creates more hatred against black people, against Hispanics. And that's all that this is going to do. It is never going to change the mind of any white person at all. All it is going to do is make them resent black people.
Right.
And this is white people trying to teach them this. This is white on white crime. This is white people trying to teach other white people that they benefit from a racist society. And because of that, they're going to kill us more.
That's
and
right.
hate us more and destroy us more.
Like,
so, you die? I think that was it, sir, unless you wanted to go into it.
Did Yediah want to add something? Go ahead, Yediah. Salaki.
That's it, sir. It's the same critical race theory mess. And then to convince white people not to take an inherited benefit that they have in life.
Like, right. Like, that's the most ridiculous thing in the world. Like, who doesn't take every benefit in life that they can? Like, you asking them to, to not be human. Like, they like the ones that should take the benefit or should be seeking the benefit is our people. Exactly. We should be seeking the benefit of us being us. Instead, we're not being taught that. All they doing is confirming to white supremacists that they got to do something drastic to save their country.
Exactly.
And these Edomites will respond in that manner. Okay. Now that they getting a little conviction, a minimal conviction over the state capitol, they said they got the first federal felony conviction, and they gave them less than 2 years. Less than 2 years in prison for storming the United States Capitol. And I didn't get a chance to look it up, but I wonder, what did the Black Panthers get for marching into the state capitol with their guns, which was legal at the time? What did they get for what they did? They got wiped out. And yet these Edomites got nothing. Why wouldn't they take their privilege? And for us to think we need to teach them is a joke. We need to be teaching our own. That's who need to hear critical race theory. Our own need to realize that race is in every single thing they do when it comes to us. And our Black leaders have taught us to ignore that. And that is totally not the case. Salakia, go ahead, General.
No, please,
go ahead, you die at the water.
Stephen A. Smith, Shohan Otani, and how racism gets coded as concerns over marketability.
So this is based on a story that happened, I think, last week. Stephen A. Smith was talking about this Asian baseball player, and he was saying that it's not marketable to have the best baseball player in America right now be an Asian from China because he does not speak the language. And this article is saying that was really racism.
Damn, he's saying that was really racist.
That's what he's saying. Kind of one come.
Go ahead.
Experts say debates about marketability have disguised racist ideas, particularly in the context of a sport considered so traditionally American and an undeniable skilled player who is Asian.
Wait a minute. So let me just get it right. Stephen A. Smith is trying to say that marketing the sport with this Asian is not marketable because he doesn't speak the language. He's not a white American.
That's right.
Well, listen, they can't. I don't know why they mad. He's telling the truth. And listen, and here's what Stephen A. Smith is not aware of. I don't believe. Stephen A. Smith is not aware of the fact that he just revealed the exact same thing we've been saying since 1969, that these people are inherently racist against the Lord's chosen people and really every nation. Like the reason he's unmarketable will not be because of his skills. They saying he's like really good in basketball, correct?
In baseball, kind of one kind.
I mean, in baseball, they're saying he's really good in baseball. So why wouldn't he be marketable? He's not marketable because, of course, white people are inherently racist. And the minute we recognize that, we can start to protect ourselves. Like, you're not going to be able to market him because those white supremacists are not going to be able, they're not going to spend their money to see another nation do magnificently. They barely could tolerate us. They have to degrade and abuse us in the stands, throw trash on us, call us the N-word, and do all kinds of things to us to even watch the game. They have to be able to abuse us and throw down food and pour beers down on you when you running into the dugout just for them to feel some sense of superiority while watching our people do something amazing. So they're not going to be that way. And Stephen A. Smith should recognize why they're not going to be that way, because of why he's not going to be marketable. If he could recognize that, he would see a lot. You're not going to be marketable to these people. They did the same thing in the music industry. Why is it that black artists always had to transfer over to white artists' music? Remember back in the 50s, blacks would make the record and they would put white faces on the album cover. The record companies would put, those different black bands would make the music and they'd put 4 white faces on the cover. That's what made Elvis Presley so famous, because he was one of the few Edomites that minimally could try to mimic black music. And because he could barely mimic it, but just slightly mimic it, they made him like onto a god and called him the king of rock and roll that was created by black people. Why did the record companies do that? Because they knew they could not market this amazing black music to white America. And it still stands today. That's why they still use the term crossing over. If you make good black music, or good music, period, for you to get the big bucks, somehow they have to make you appealable to white America. Did y'all lose me that whole time?
Kind of one cut.
Oh, man. Yeah,
I sent you a text, Salakia.
Oh, God. Okay. Okay. Got it. The water. So we back on?
We back on kind of one cut.
Y'all ain't hear nothing I said about Elvis Presley or none of that?
Not a word.
Oh, man. Can I just throw it out there one more time real quick? Can you hear me?
I hear you now.
Okay. That's what I was trying to say, is that's exactly what happened to us in the music here. Oh, John P. said they heard it. The brothers and sisters heard it all. So did Carl. Big shout out to y'all. The water. They said they heard it.
Oh, okay. So they all, I'm not sure how that works.
Yeah,
okay,
so maybe something in the studio with that signal. That's all. All right, everybody heard it. We can move on then. They said they can still hear it. Okay. The water. Everybody.
No sweat.
Where we going?
Chicago schools offer free condoms to students as young as 10 years old.
Like, how evil can you be? Like, how evil can you be? Like to give a condom to a 10-year-old, I'm going to let you read the story. But to give a condom to a 10-year-old completely implies that you never want them to consider marriage and a family before sex. Like, you giving out condoms to them to totally get them that the minute they get sexual urges to do absolutely nothing else but put on a condom and perform sexual acts. You making sure that their mindset is nowhere near the idea of restraint. Go ahead, Yediah. Salakia.
Colonel Khan, sir. CPS said that the condoms will be provided at no cost to reduce HIV infection and unattended pregnancy. When Chicago public schools resume class in the fall, students as young as 10 years old, grades 5th and up, will have access to free condoms.
Why 5th? Like, why not 4th and 3rd and like what 5th grade seems awful arbitrary. Like, what's the difference between a 4th grader and a 5th grader or a 3rd grader? And once again, this is something you said a long time ago. And Lord, I see it coming. I see it galloping towards us. You said back when Barack Obama was president, sir, when he began to push the LGBT community's agenda, that the gay rights were going to turn into child molestation rights. You said it back then, and I remember it so clearly. And this is it galloping towards us, that these children are now able to make the decision to have safe sex. Well, if they can make that decision, what other decisions can they make?
Right.
And these children are being sexualized. The gay community has children that they perform, that go perform at gay nightclubs. And the entire gay movement is pushing sexuality on children. And that is why they chose the rainbow. There is only one reason that the gay community chose a rainbow to be their symbol, and that is to influence children. Otherwise, you better tell me why the cereal companies did it. Otherwise, tell me why the toy companies and the Saturday morning TV shows chose rainbows. All of them chose rainbows for one reason and one reason only, and that's because children like rainbows. It's the same reason that the marijuana companies chose putting marijuana in candy and in lollipops and in gummy bears, because they're marketing their product to children. Well, sex is being marketed to kids. Sex. They want kids to have sex. A kid can't get pregnant. A kid is going to say yes. Is going to say yes. They want kids to have sex, and before you know it, there is going to be some psychiatrist, some advocate that will come on TV and say, well, a child of 12 years old is fully capable of making decisions on their own about who they want to have sex with. Scientists say that girls mature at a much higher rate than boys. And so a girl should be able to do that, and then it's going to blossom and bloom into the LGBTQ. Give me something for kids.
K.
So, how did I forget? So LGBTQ. Say it again.
If I may, sir, I will summarize the witness. So I bring this out at every camp.
Oh, forget about
the
it.
LGBTQ. The P is for pedophilia.
Listen, it is.
Damn.
I am so positive of this. This is going to happen. I heard you, and then I saw society marching towards it. And there's a march.
Damn.
And this is before. I think, when did that rainbow get super popular? I think when Barack Obama was president.
I think you're right.
I mean, then the rainbow became like, damn. I remember I went to one of my daughter's rooms, sir, and I saw a rainbow sign that said something like, "You're fierce," or some slogan. And I said, what the hell is this in here? And I said, whoa, hold up. I said, she's a little, this is for kids. Listen, my brain has already switched from a rainbow being for little girls. I got a daughter, she's a girl. And there was a rainbow sign in her room that said, you can do it. And I walked in there and said, what the hell is this BS in here? I said, hold up, wait a minute. I did that.
Damn. It was like
it's for kids.
Right.
And I switch my brain back because already a rainbow in my mind is for gay people.
Wow.
And I'm in the truth.
Wow. Like you said, they use brother, that is a brainwashing program. Like they use that rainbow. Go ahead, you die. Go ahead. That's amazing.
If I may, sir, what y'all bringing out is just so heavy. And to piggyback off of General Muhammad's point, there was a situation where Lala Anthony was upset with her son, Carmelo Anthony's son. She said on Twitter, she was arguing, saying my 14-year-old son shouldn't be hanging out with girls, getting to know girls and having girlfriends. But then one sister was like, wait a minute, you mad at your son for hanging out with sisters and having girlfriends, but you are show complete support for Dwayne Wade and his son to become a girl. To become a girl.
It's a terrible, and before you know it, it's going to happen, and it's not going to even seem abnormal.
Yeah.
It's not, they're going to pay adults off, just like with the marijuana, sir. When they push weed on children, adults are going to get paid off because they're going to get to smoke weed too.
That's right.
And adults are not going to complain that there's weed and lollipops, weed and gummy bears, because mama is able to get high also. Well, guess what? They're not going to complain when 10-year-old boys get to choose their sexual partners, even though their sexual partner is an adult. Why? Because mommy gets to have entanglements.
Right.
Because mommy gets to have illicit sex. So as long as the parents get enough illicit, sinful sex, they're going to be absolutely fine with the child doing the same thing. And this is society, and this is marching forward just like you did, just like you said it was going to happen. And it's a matter of fact, I think right now on YouTube, there's some woman in England making the case already.
Damn.
Children should be able to have sex with adults.
Already making the case.
Like 5 years ago. It's on YouTube right now. And this is this story, and they're giving these kids these, and who gets the condom? The child that walks in there and says, listen, I need some condoms. Well, that's a mature 10-year-old. And he's making a decision, or she's making a decision. And he should get his condoms, and he might understand what sex is with his adult partner.
Right.
I'm not sure what it is. That is not, it might be that one. I'm not sure.
Those are the gummies in the weed. They sitting, those are the weed gummy bears.
Yeah. And you adults that's out there eating them weed gummy bears, you a damn shame and an embarrassment, man. You don't have the damn maturity to just smoke the damn thing. Like you know how stupid you have to be. You don't have the maturity. You already a sinner. You don't have the maturity just to choke and smoke like a goddamn adult. Like you have to have candy with your weed. You're a shame and even a deeper embarrassment than every other drug addict who smokes weed. So now the children are going to be just like you. Like you, sir.
Damn right. Damn right. Come on. Go ahead, you die.
Go ahead, Moran.
If I may, sir, we might be a little late. I'm about to show you this. They already got the LGBT, whatever, P.
Ain't that
It's already up there. It's already.
Damn. Pedosexual.
Ain't that so?
It's already there. And they giving it a term. Pedosexual. Like they monsters are. And listen, and this, you're not gonna tell me that this is not contrived. This is not something that just happened. This is contrived. Okay, this is contrived. Like somebody sat down and decided this is how society was going to be.
If I may, sir, they got equal and acceptance. Like, man, you know, I can't imagine it.
Like a pedophile should be equal and be accepted.
Come on.
He should be equal, or she should be equal and acceptance. Damn right, Jacob Brown. Like that's crazy.
I think I got it.
You got it.
I think I got the. It's in the UK. I'm coming up on it now.
Okay.
They listen in the case out when they brung it on, sir. They brung up the Greeks and how this was a totally normal part of society for the Greek and the Roman Empire. It was a nurturing custom, and she laid the entire case out for how pedophilia for some children can be absolutely healthy.
Damn.
Like she was saying, they could learn it from the adult. I'm gonna see if I can find it for you before we end the class. But I mean the show, but I'll let him go ahead. Salakia.
God.
Yedaya, please.
Rapid rain and slow response blamed for high number of flooding deaths in Europe.
Go ahead.
Colonel McCann. The torrential rain has been called a 1 in 100 year event, said Kathy Prokich, a meteorologist for NBC News. An entire community's lies in ruins after swollen rivers swept through towns and villages in Western Europe. Experts say the ferocity of the rainfall and failure to heed warnings about its arrival were likely responsible for the high number of deaths.
They said Germany has lost almost 200 people already from them floods. Like the rain coming through Germany is hell on earth to the Germans. Go ahead.
Colonel Khan. At least Salakia.
Salakia. Go ahead.
Colonel Khan, sir. At least 120 people have been killed in the flash flooding, and thousands more are missing in Germany and Belgium.
Like the Lord is breaking down their whole world out. The entire world is about to get broken down. Okay, the second variant of the COVID, the variant 7 or whatever they calling it. Damn, look at that water coming through there. Damn, like that's the Lord destroying the whole entire earth. You mean this joint here is coming to an end. Christ is gonna rule this next kingdom. Go ahead, you die.
Conor Khan, sir. It says cell phone networks have collapsed in some regions, leaving people unable to track down their loved ones.
Damn, they can't even communicate. Cell phones down. Go ahead.
Conor Khan. It says Lumpspoor and the Netherlands are also hit with heavy downpours.
And that should be a wake-up call for Esau, that you are as vulnerable as the Lord wants to make you vulnerable. Like the whole world better bow down and recognize that the Most High controls the earth. You understand? Like it's saying that 83rd Psalms, you know what I'm saying? That men may know that thou alone are the Most High power over all the earth. You know what I'm saying? Man. Like that, like they should recognize that the Lord said he's in the whirlwind. He brings the whirlwind. And then another scripture, he said, who could bear my cold? Like right. he put you in cold weather to shut your whole empire down. So that's what's happening over there. They drowning and dying and disrupted and much, much more to come. Look at the water line on that house. That water line was high as hell on that picture. Look at that water line. Look at that mud up there. That is high. Look at that. That's a high ass water line. I mean, them floods are coming through there, brother. Shoulder high, disrupting everything. And of course, you know they ain't reporting all of it. You want to put the Lord's 12 tribes in the mud, the Lord gonna put you in the mud. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm right.
Conor Khan.
All right.
Next story, sir.
Oh, if I could, sir, I found scientists.
Come on.
In the UK or Australia, but Officer Marah has a video. And brother, she's making the perfect case. You'll see it right in the beginning, sir.
Come. The water.
You hear it now? I'm not sure if it's playing.
No, not yet. He's pulling it up right now.
I got you.
Change in the way society deals with pedophiles. Now, she asks, if people are born straight or gay, is it possible that pedophiles can't help being what they are? Recent research out of America suggests pedophiles have faulty wiring in the brain, and instead of having a protective response towards children, they have a sexual one. Tori says helping pedophiles control themselves instead of just despising them could save many kids from being abused. Joe?
It's a really, really interesting topic and just one that is so explosive. I have a few issues with this. To start with, I think it's always very problem. I'm sure I do think there's a pathology behind pedophilia. I think some people are born that way, and I think that they actually think it's normal. But the idea that we should somehow sympathise.
Yes, for just a second.
Right there. Meaning, if gay people and heterosexuals are just born that way, if you are born with whatever sexual proclivity you have, then how are you going to put these people in jail for being born pedophiles? If you're going to accept homosexuality, eventually you are going to have to accept pedophilia because they're born. Listen, they're in prison for being what they were born to be. How is that any different than what gay people went through? We're going to jail. Listen, it was, sir, go ahead.
No, go ahead, General.
Back in San Francisco and New York in the 70s, right? Gay people were being persecuted. Why? Because they were having sex in nightclubs. Having sex. One of them, like Club 54 in New York, right, where they're having sex in the basement. In San Francisco, they're having sex in the bar, in the nightclub. What do the police do? the police come and shut the place down and say, you can't be doing this in here. What do gay people say? You're persecuting us. Yep. This is our lifestyle. We want to have sex in a bar. You're persecuting us. The cops keep shutting down the bar. The gay people keep opening up, and they keep having sex in the bar. What happens eventually? The cops get in a violent confrontation with the gay people in the bar that they were shutting down because they were having sex in the bar. They get in a violent confrontation on some block called Stonewall in San Francisco, and that becomes the impetus for the gay movement. And now from there, they have blossomed and grown and fought for Stonewall.
Yeah.
Because the bars that they were having sex in, that now you can't say they're wrong for doing that. Pedophiles are next. It is going to happen. It is a guarantee. Like Commander General Yana said, they're born that way. They can't stop it. And guess what? Some of your children like it. Some of your 10-year-olds agree. They agree with them. They feel the same way. And a child should be able to make its own decisions about its body. The minute a child could go get an abortion without telling the parent, that was the road, the path to this child being able to have sex without the parents' approval. They can kill the baby without the parents' approval. Well, it's a small thing to just have sex without the parents' approval. And this man is born like that anyway. He can't stop it. And your child likes it. Here, they're 10. They know what they're doing. They're 10. Here's a condom. Just have safe sex, y'all. Pedophilia is coming. It is on its way, and it is going to be accepted. It will be on the front cover of magazines. A little boy and his boyfriend. They're going to be together. It is going to happen. You better pray for the return of Christ.
That's right. Damn right.
Right.
Damn right. That's insane. You want to play a little more of the report?
Please, if I could say one last thing. That little guy brung up, that little boy, that basketball player's son. I would like to know who is his boyfriend. I can guarantee it is not a child.
Yeah.
Little Dwayne Wade's son who dresses like a girl.
Yeah.
I can all but guarantee you he is not man. And it's a guarantee. And before you know it, it'll come out on tape or on TV or on something that he is with a grown man teaching like the Greeks would do. Like the Greeks would teach them. Salaki, you die.
If I may, sir, just to bring out one point that you said, what you bring out is so heavy. I'm afraid to tell you, sir, you went over this before and it already came to pass. Like this past Pride Parade, they put a ban on uniformed police officers because they don't just have gay sex out there in the bars. They do it at the Pride Parades too. They have sex at the Pride Parades, and that's why they banned police at their Pride Parades. And Gabrielle Union was the one that took Dwayne Wade's son to his first Pride Parade when he was 11.
Well, there you go, sir.
Yeah, man. That's crazy. Let me hear a little bit more of that. Yeah, what he was saying.
Oh, please.
Or that we should see that as them just having an illness or whatever. There are plenty of people who might have similar urges or impulses which are just as disgraceful. It might be people who have rape fantasies, people who have the urge to kill people and derive pleasure from taking life.
Is that different to sexual desire, though?
Yes, it is, because I think when you're equating something that is actually completely perverse to something like a question of whether you're born straight or gay or bi or whatever,
I think sir,
that's very problematic. I don't think you want to
commenting on another video.
Oh, okay.
I have to find the actual video. She's her face is on the thumbnail. The woman who actually said it.
John. Okay. Okay. That's all right. You got it.
You can play it. I'm not sure. That might be.
likely to be pedophiles.
3 times as
I have two
likely.
children that are left-handed, so I read a lot about left-handed people, and and they think it's something to do with the wiring of the brain, and that it, not the left-handedness, but the pedophile tendencies, and it occurs in the womb. Now, look, I don't like pedophiles either, and I abhor what they do. But if you look at this article really closely and then start doing some research, you'll find the Sexual Assault Centre's report that when people ring up asking for help because they have these urges, there's no publicly funded courses or programs for them, and they have to turn them away. They can't help them. So that tells me that we need to really have a look at what makes a pedophile, and is there some way of correcting the behavior, and why don't we have
this is not her story. This is once again a comment about the video.
About it. If I could just comment real quick, General, on what she said. I mean, it's amazing to me when I see these Edomites try to discuss what the Edomites are going through. Like, she went all into, I don't like pedophiles, but maybe we need to look at this. Maybe it's something that they're born with. Meanwhile, when it comes to black people and all that we're suffering and black on black crime, which they complain about, they never say to themselves, well, maybe we need to look at this. Maybe we need to see what is the root of this. Maybe it's just something that has to be examined. They never come out with that simply because they know the answer to that. The answer to that is them. They're the reason that black people are going through what they're going through every day. So it's why they won't look at that, but they're going to look at a pedophile and try scientifically any way they can to try and get this pedophile, to try and get some kind of justification at why this Edomite pedophile is allowed to be, is what he is. And what they don't understand is that the Most High has a death penalty for a reason. There's a death penalty for a reason because, like any animal, animals do whatever they want to do until a cage is put around them to do what they're supposed to do. You understand? Animals will do anything, which is why the Most High got laws, statutes, and commandments to make sure that animals know what to do. When you got animals on a farm, you don't let the animals roam all out throughout the farm. You have areas where those animals are to be at. When they're caught outside that area, they're brought back to that area, and you still have rules within that area. Well, that's how the earth is going to be run by the Lord. You ain't going to have cows walking around all through India being given flowers and gold and diamonds and jewels like they are something more than a cow. And the same with an Edomite. You ain't going to have Edomites running around the earth doing whatever the hell they want to do and recognize, like, civilized people. When left alone, they just denigrate into the worst things that the Lord said would happen in the earth. You're not going to have those things, and it's going to be changed because of that. Kind of nonsense is that? They actually sitting there trying to justify the possibility that having sex with children is okay, which is, once again, like you said, I wouldn't be surprised if them two disgusting people, that sister and that brother, that son, I'm not going to be Germany's.
Go ahead, sir.
I'm not going to be surprised if we find out down the road that they receive some kind of funding or grant for allowing their child, or some study to allow that child to become sexualized, which of course they're going to turn around and use to say, see, he's 10 years old. He knows his sexual orientation. He should be allowed to have sex with a grown man. He's being discriminated against. After a while, and which is so hard to fight for people in normal society, not in the Lord's society. In normal society, anything that they say they want to do for a child is almost impossible for you to go against it, because then they demonize you as an evil person. So they'll do the same with child pedophilia. They'll say a child should be allowed to love an adult. Don't you hug your children? Don't your kids jump in your arms? They can recognize what they love. So if a child wants to have sex with an adult, they should be allowed to. And then the floodgates come open for every pedophile to prey on people's children. Like that is a monstrosity of evil that they're sitting like once again the scriptures say this in Revelation. Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ready. Meaning when that harvest grows up high enough, you take that blade and you cut that harvest down so that you can take it for the wheat. And then you burn the chaff on the bottom to prepare the soil for the next growing. Well, the Lord is saying that this evil that's gone on in this earth, that it is ready for him to bring that blade and cut it down so that the wheat could be taken out the field, which is us, and the chaff could be burned, which is all these heathens promoting all these demonic ideas against the Most High, man. That's what's going on right there. Hey, man, y'all check out General Muhammad this Thursday. He'll be live in Chicago, 6:30 Central Standard Time. Also, join all of us downtown Chicago, Friday, 11 a.m. Check with I.S.U.P.K. Chicago to get the times and dates, and let's get it on, man. We'll see you out there. Join us every Monday night. You know how we do. Want to give a big shout out and thanks to General Muhammad, Officer Marah, Officer Yadiah, Officer Ibad, and I.S.U.P.K. We'll see y'all next time, y'all live on the UPK. Shalom.
PK under command of General Yahanna is back at it again with the Lord's Midwest Fire Weekend. This is one event that you don't want to miss. This summer, July 22nd through the 24th, we'll be having General Muhammad's class on Thursday, July 22nd. Camp downtown Chicago and on the west side of Chicago. That's right, I said downtown Chicago and on the west side of Chicago, Friday, July 23rd. And afterwards, we have a powerful lecture from officers of 1000 Car Yash and Thabawan on how colonization divided Blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. And also last but not least, on Saturday, July 24th, is the Black and Brown Chicago Cookout, located at Douglas Park. Bring the whole family. Make sure y'all come out and experience what real brotherhood and sisterhood can bring. Shalom, Israel.
Niggas do you dirty like a stick in a bando. So I play the corner like a bum